Trump has always wanted to steal the election. That's my opinion. Why?
Spoke to a crowd estimated in the thousands, everyone from ordinary Americans to conspiracy theorists to members of right-wing extremist groups.
We will never give up. We will never concede.
Trump repeated the lie that the election was stolen, urging his supporters to march to the Capitol and fight.
You'll never take back our country with weakness. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country.
But I'm not alone in that opinion. Legal experts concur.
President Trump was charged because the evidence established that he willfully broke the law, the very laws he took an oath to uphold. Grand juries in 2 separate districts reached this conclusion based on his actions, as alleged in the indictments they returned. Rather than accept his defeat in the 2020 election, President Trump engaged in a criminal scheme to overturn the results and prevent the lawful transfer of power.
And then yesterday, he said this.
The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I did.
That's not an isolated statement. This has been building for years. Since Trump entered public office, he has repeatedly claimed that if he doesn't win, it's fraud. Escalating to when he tried to steal the 2020 election with an attack on the Capitol, and continues today through relentless, debunked lies that our election system is flawed and that he somehow won. None of that is true. But that has not stopped him and his supporters from continuing to lie. When a president openly seeks to nationalize an election, he is not issuing a warning. He is committing the offense itself, a deliberate effort to end our free and fair election system. Taken together, these ongoing statements and actions makes what happened in Georgia last week even more urgently troubling. Federal officials, including the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, searched an election office in Atlanta tied to Trump's long disproven fraud claims from 2020. Ballots were seized. Control over those ballots was taken out of local hands. This is a clear example of how Trump's disinformation system becomes state power. This is the pattern. The use of state power, law enforcement, intelligence officials, federal agencies like ICE, not to protect democracy, but to control it. The time for concern has passed. This is not a warning sign. It's an active assault on our constitutional democracy. A president who calls for the end of free and fair elections must be impeached. And that demand must be made clearly, publicly, and repeatedly until the threat is removed. Institutions must rise to the occasion. The press, the courts, civil society, and yes, elected officials must reclaim their role as defenders of our Constitution. Until our institutions fully meet that obligation, the responsibility falls on us. We, the people. To speak truth to power, to refuse the normalization of lawlessness, to insist that our constitutional rights are not stripped away. Democracy has always demanded vigilance, and in this moment, that responsibility lays with every patriotic American, regardless of party or group. But it must not end there. Our institutions must stand shoulder to shoulder with us to save our democracy.